Hello, everybody. My name is Juniper Bloom Mystique. I am an Ascension Master Healer, and Divine Guide. I actually am the return of Christ, and I'm going to prove that to you more and more. So today is a Sunday, and I usually do my lives on these days. However, Spirit doesn't want me to today. I have once released the Nile workshop in which I have done in bringing about the return of Christ, okay? And it wasn't given the respect it should have been, and that's what Spirit says. So they want me to change my plans today and re-release that video. So that is what I'm going to do. So you're going to watch the Nile the Nile dry up and turn blood red. And I did that. So in bringing about the return of Christ really quickly, I'll give you a quick walkthrough for those who don't know me and for those who need to see it again, because it is a lot to process, right? This is my YouTube channel. Spirit actually had me create because they told me to make videos, and I argued with them because I don't like to be judged just like anybody else doesn't, right? Because judgments are not of God. But they told me what I was going to do was going to be different than anyone, that I wasn't like the others, and that I was here to change the world. And then I was going to watch it change. And at first, I thought that meant the healings that I was doing, because I had an awakening, Kundalini, and all of a sudden I was doing these crazy healings on people I've never seen done before. So in the return of Christ, things started happening to me. They were like, do workshops. I was like, okay. Then it came through that I should record them. I was like, okay. So I started doing that, and I didn't know why. Okay. So first I cleared Mt Shasta. Okay. This one I do believe happened first. It is not of light at all. Part 2, I burned Samael. That's on here too. These are just for you guys to witness, though, because they're portals. These are the Ascension portals that you have to rise through. Revelations 21. Revelations talks about that. And I brought about all of Revelations, all of what you call Judgment Day. I am the return of Christ. It didn't just happen to me. These were my lifetimes. Okay. And Spirit says that if they don't get the reflections that they need to, it's going to hurt everybody. Because in order to rise, we need to be united under God. Okay. And so people throw judgments towards my videos. They don't watch them. And my first DM did die, and it is on the DM to reflect love back into the whole. So that needs to be understood. Okay. I got to walk in Twin Flame in this one, and I love him. He's a beautiful soul. But the return of Christ played through me. I didn't know I had a twin flame at first. I just had awakening. I started doing the things God said to do because that's who I am. I don't need the answers to trust in God. Okay. So I started clearing Mt Shasta. Then I activated Fiji, which was underwater. There's a pyramid underwater there. That's a pyramid activation. Then I started clearing the sun, which was at Lake Titicaca, because later I learned that's where I died as Eve. Yes, Eve and Jesus and Mary Magdalene, Adam and Eve, and Sekhmet and Horus are all the same lifetime, and it all played through me. I have to give this background, or you're not going to understand that what I said is very real. And these are the workshops. More people want the healing for free, but they don't realize that in order to go through all of the portals that I did and work through me is through the path to righteousness. Now, people throw judgment at that too. Why should I have to pay to make it through? You don't. What I did will take you through the rapture. It will remove you from the collective judgment. So it's not for everybody, because not everybody can escape that. It's for the more pure of heart. Okay, because what I did is very real. You have to clear all karma. You have to clear your shadow. You can't have anything outside of God within you. It is a rebirth into the new earth. It is a quantum regeneration. I brought about the 7th wave of creation, and that's what God called it. Okay, so then Jesus was freed. I freed his soul. I found out how he died at that time. I didn't know it was my DM because he wasn't ready to take that on. That was before the first one died. My second one did take on the soul of Jesus eventually. And you can also watch that in this one. And I didn't see that coming. When I activated more pyramids from Indonesia, Myanmar, Machu Picchu, Budapest, Thailand. These are all pyramid activations and ascension portals. I activated the Sphinx. Turns out I built the Sphinx in my Sekhmet lifetime. This is where I started taking us into 7D, because I survived all of the shadow, and I brought down all Christ light and all DNA activations. People want to throw their ego at me and say it's my ego, I. None of you could do what I did, and this is what you need to understand. The return of Christ that is biblical, God says that 2 souls will unite into one. Open up the God portal. This is what I did, and this is how it played out, okay? And that's all on my channel. Then my DM woke up. I got a new walk-in because my old one chose to stay with the fallen and not rise. And it was a battle for me. He tried to kill me and he just couldn't see clearly. He just made choices and he couldn't see clearly. And a lot of you might make the same mistake. Okay, so don't. Then I united Jesus and Mary Magdalene and undid the Holy Grail, which was not holy at all, and it was not a cup. You'll find out what happened to the cup and why that was involved, why they call it the Last Supper, and so on. These were all my lifetimes, and it played out in that way. First was Adam and Eve, then Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and then Sekhmet and Horus. And those are the portals you all have to rise through. Do you understand now? I did things to the moon. I had to change the phases, separate the sun and the moon, realign it. And then recently, well, here, before I get into that, I started doing all the darkness of the moon, which all of it is in this path. You don't get everything on my YouTube channel, okay? You don't. You're not allowed to. God doesn't allow it. Because again, this is for the righteousness. These are for the people who see God, who choose love over the shadow and are willing to do that. And they're just ready, okay? They don't have to rise through the rapture of God. They choose to rise through the one who brought it about. Okay, so this is all of the moon darkness release. So there's a lot that you guys don't see that I did. Solar eclipse of moon phase complete, and I kept doing it, and that's relevant. Okay, Ascension portal activations, 2020. So they're all dated. These I did. These are videos. God had me record them for a reason. And at the time, I didn't know why. It was my awakening. Okay. And then my DM, my new one, started rising right next to me. And in the energy, he helped me activate now the masculine pyramid. So we went through the feminine, then Jesus and Mary Magdalene united. Then I took us into 7D because I accidentally took us further than I was supposed to. So now you have to heal more. That's not a joke. You should have 10 inner chakras, not 7 by the end of all this, because it's an evolution as well. And I am going fast because I need to get to the Nile, but it takes a lot to get there. In this one, they told me I was Sekhmet, and it shocked the shit out of me. That's why you see that. So I was activating pyramids, the masculine pyramids, part 1. We went around the world, is what God called it, around the equator line. And my DM was in the energy with me, and this was the first one. It was Ecuador, Kilimanjaro, Colombia, Congo, and then I demolished the White House. And there's a reason I did that, never to be rebuilt again, because this is a king and queen nation, not just a king. Okay, not the White House. That's false. They use the power of God against you. All right, but in this one, they told me I was Sekhmet, and I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, boom, my mind was blown because it was my awakening. Sekhmet, Book of Revelations, and what I have done. Time to protect our children. How do we do that? By protecting your soul. Okay. Then more portal pyramid activations. I think this one was done before these. Yeah, I just uploaded it late. This one was Nigeria, Botswana, and Zimbabwe. I created pyramids in Africa, and then I dried the Nile. Okay. Now after the Nile, I did more things. Mt Shasta part 2 is where I burned Samael. This shows you my first workshop, all of it. The Ankh, what is the Ankh, the true Ankh, and I predicted what happened to the submersible, which was true as well. But a lot of people are throwing judgment my way, and it hurts you. And if you refuse to see who I am, you won't make it through. If you can't see who I am and the work that I did, either in the energy or me, you won't make it. And they told you that in the very last video I did, okay? The anointing of the blood of Christ also came through me. That is when we brought down the blood of Jesus, which is my DM and me, technically, because we're twin souls. And we cleanse the earth. And that is when karmic shifted. And that's why I tell you, you have to clear all karma to make it, or you won't make it. And some people will go without water, and all karmic will play out. Okay. Then recently, my DM took on Horus. So full God has returned. And that's what you guys don't realize. And these came through me in workshops. Now, in the Nile, I only uploaded the recording of the voice. And God says people are disrespecting the work of God. So we're instead of my live today, we're gonna re-release the Nile. So this is the path to righteousness, you guys. This is everything I've done. This gets you through all 13 gates, not 12, into the new earth. I do your heart review. I have the keys. And not only that, I help you. I make sure that you see what's coming. You can see all your karma. You heal it, right? You don't just bypass it. If there were any contracts that were broken, I help you do that. Okay. You call back your power. I help you do that. I help you awaken. No matter how awake you think you are, you're not awake all the way. There's only one that I see that really sees what I do, and that's De La Roca. He sees it in the energy right after I do it. So I know he's also part of the 144,000. I take out all of the shadow because you can't carry it through. Lionsgate portal, this starts to cut you out of the matrix. Okay. Trauma releasing, all of it. So there's so much more that you don't realize because it's not all on my channel. Karmic alignment, you have to heal any karma contracts that were removed by some so-called healers that were claiming to help you, because that did happen a lot. Hidden shadow elimination, so I take it further. And then you also have to be able to accept the light codes and the Ascension activations. Okay, then Mount Shasta part 1 and 2, Fiji part 1 and 2. Part 2 is not on my channel. Okay, that is the God portal, and I healed it. That's also the earth root chakra that was returned, and Mount Shasta was cut off from life support. Sequoia, I take you to remove all past lives, because no matter who you are, no matter where you go, either here or somewhere else, you can't have any more past lives. They will all be undone. It is a great reset. So you will start over here with a brand new contract of God in the new earth with God, or you will go somewhere else and all past lives are removed either way. Okay, seriously. Then this is a healing for becoming the 5DU, because not everybody can just accept those. You don't just get to accept those. It's a rite of passage. It's not a given, trust me. Everybody's like, God is love. Yeah, God is love. God doesn't judge you. It's you judging me. Okay, so you got to eliminate the shadow. Releasing all darkness from the moon. That's also portals and activations. And you have to do all this healing before you can see clearly. Trust me. You can't see clearly until you can see clearly. It takes a long time. Solar eclipse elimination of the false concept of time. I did that too. I undid all of that. By the way, there's 2 of those. So I need to add the other one in here too, I think. And there's also 13 gates of abundance, not just 12. So both of those are in there. So I need to update that. But you get all of that in that. Mount Shasta, what does that mean? So where was that one? Let me see. False removal, final removal of time. Return of Christ work, everything undone, oil fields, Alaska, and more. Workshop. And that right after these, right after the Nile and all of these is when you started seeing a lot of rivers change colors. Even in Alaska, they turned orange. So everything I do aligns with what's happening in your world. And a lot of people are not respecting that enough. And what does that mean for you? The shadow's winning for you, and you may not make it through. So you need to just hear me. You need to watch the videos. The path of righteousness, if you want to throw shade my way and laugh because I'm charging you, basically get a grip, because I have a right to charge. It's money's an energy, and it's also been put through the karmic portal. So to use it to get through the new earth, that'd be golden. This is actually priceless. You can't really put a price on all this. And all this took me 5 years to do. Okay. Guided meditation, pyramid, DNA alignment and healing, DNA activations, pyramid, portal, Nigeria, Atlantis, Sphinx, Pharaoh, Lemuria cleansing. A lot of these aren't on my YouTube channel. You guys don't realize how much I did and how much it hurts, and it's being disrespected in a very big way. Removal of the matrix. Now, granted, some people won't be able to see it ever. Some people choose their shadow over love, and that eliminates them as well. But it still deserves more respect than what it's getting, and that is what God is saying. And that does start and stem from the DM site as well. Rising into the Garden of Eden. This is an Eden portal. Christ light integration before I brought down all of the Christ light. And I had to do it through the angel rays, okay? None of this is on my YouTube channel. Do you understand? Okay, this is a lot. That's why I'm saying to do the path to righteousness, that's for the chosen ones. Okay. The rest of you will go through the wrath, which is also my path either way. And that's what people call Judgment Day. And it is up to you to make it on your own, right? This is the way I can help those who are able to be helped. Resurrection of Christ and undoing the false Holy Grail. Okay. Body upgrades, CNS, DNA, and more. So it's an evolution. It's not just given. So I'm telling you. 7D, chakra awakening, aligning with Pleiades. 7D upgrades planetary alignment. I move the planets. Okay, none of you can do that. So don't throw your ego my way. This is me. I am the return of Christ. You all have your purpose. I had mine. If I didn't make it through mine, none of you would either. 7D upgrades and sapphire rays. And then boom, equator portal activations, like I said, and then came the portal of the Nile. Now, these are all portals of the wrath that you will either rise through on your own or with me if you're lucky. Okay, so we are going to redo the Nile today because I gave it to you in audio form instead of video, and people are not respecting it as it should. You know, these are all the workshops that I've uploaded into this thing. So let me find it, okay? And then for the rest of this video, you're just going to watch it. The beginning part of the Nile was me getting gifts from the angels because I didn't see it coming. I will bypass that this time as well. So let me see. Portal of the Garden of Eden. So we got to be close. Give me a second. Hopefully it says it on there. Otherwise, I'll have to access it another way. The Nile was done in 2023, but I started doing all of this work way back in 2019 is when I had my awakening. And also you have to remove all past lives. So I take us several times in the path only to Sequoia and do that. But give me a second because I'm looking for, oh yeah, Golden Gate portals. There's a lot of portals that are not on my YouTube and people are throwing shade at those. So can you imagine? I spark your shadow, okay? And if you can't handle that, it'll hurt you, right? So that's why a lot of people aren't able to do it through me because that is literally rising directly through God. Okay, let's see. And then you guys, that's not my ego. This hurts so much to do all this and I barely survived. And my DM, my original one, didn't. So understand, okay? Portal activation, the Nile. Here we go. Ready? You're going to watch the whole thing. I'm not going to edit anything. This one was done on, let's see, will it let me? Let's see. Is it going to let me show the whole thing? I wonder if there's a better way to do it. This is my daughter's thing. She had me put that on there. We only need to go halfway through, so I don't want to show the whole thing. So hang on. I want to show you the right way. I looked through my thing and I didn't see it in there, so we're going to do it. We will find this. We will find this. So let's try it this way. Let's go back to the portal of the Nile because you guys need to understand who I am and what I've done, because if you don't, you won't make it. You can either see it in the energy or through me. If you can't see either, and you guys, just being able to see me isn't enough. So I'm telling you, you have to.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to give it another minute just to see if Amy's going to come. I have not heard from her.
Let's pause that. You have to heal. You have to upgrade. You have to evolve. You have to be able to get all your DNA activations. Each portal you're tested through God, through your shadow, and through your karma. If you can't choose wisely this time through opposite of what you chose the first time, and you can't see past the shadow, you don't get your DNA activations and stuff, okay? They're not just a given, it's a rite of passage because you have to let everything go. It's self-growth, all right? Let's see here. I just want to watch it, so we're going to get there. Okay, here we go. We only need at 30 minutes. We will start and just watch. This is the Nile workshop. My lifetimes, this is where they don't tell you the truth. Adam and Eve, right? Adam fell for the false goddess and basically killed Eve. And I saw myself die there at Lake Titicaca, and that is where the language of the sun was trapped. And I had to undo all of that, and I didn't get that at the time. Was my awakening. Then came the portals of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. I cleared all that darkness. I freed Jesus's soul. I undid the Holy Grail, which was not a cup. That was quite intense and very painful. And I united our souls. And that is when I understood who my twin flame was and everything. Then from there came the portal of the Nile. My new DM was slightly behind me. And that's why he recently finally took on the past life of Jesus and Horus. So it's all the same lifetime. And when I say he died, I get that all souls don't die. So again, don't throw judgment at me. I understand that. But my DM really did die. He did change. He's not the original one, not my new one. And that's a whole process in itself. So each lifetime, though, we die, right? You don't know me as Eve. And you barely accept me as that. You don't know me as Mary. You barely accept me as that so far. And you surely don't know me as Sekhmet. Right now, you know me as Jesus, Brianna or Juniper Bloom Mystique. So in each lifetime, parts of us do die. You need to understand that. And part of the return of Christ is through every portal. You need to call your power back. You have to know how to do all these things. And that's why the path to righteousness is a gift. It's not given to all, because not all get the help of me, right? It's just, that's a blessing. Okay. So understand that if you actually choose to do that path, it's going to kick your ass, but I'm here to help you. And that's a blessing. And that's not a gift given to everybody. Okay. So let's watch the Nile, because the Nile is the final portal. It will truly turn blood red and dry out. It's already started to dry out right after I did this workshop. And even when I did the Euphrates one, I started drying that up when I cleared the collective shadow. Okay, that's also a portal you go through. So this work is quite complex. I reflect your shadow, but don't throw it back at me. And God says people are not respecting this enough. So that's why today, instead of my live, I'm re-releasing this. Here you go. So beginning a part of this, I got gifts from the angels. That's all I thought this was. I thought I was just getting gifts from the angels.
You have to be open. And I can even feel the pressure in my head. And so I'm standing in like this pond, and they have my arms water, like a well type of thing, but like a big pool.
So I was receiving gifts. I'm going to tell you that again. That's why I'm cutting off the first part of this, because people have a short attention span. We'll see who made it even to this part, right? So we're just going to watch from here.
Chanting going on. Now, Fortuna is putting pearls. I don't know really the reference to that. We could look that up. She's putting pearls in all 12 of the abundant openings.
So by the way, I did a 12 gates to abundance, but once we got into the new earth, those of us that have, we get a 13th gate to abundance, because the 13th gate is heaven. That's heaven on earth. You have to make it through the final portal too, all the way up to this one, which is the Nile. By the time it dries out, you better be there, right? Or the blood in the Nile, I asked what that means, and it is representative of everything I'm removing off this planet, of all the darkness.
The 12 gates of abundance. It's like adorning with jewels. Almost like when Jesus was born, how they would bring gifts. It's kind of like that. Wow, I did not see this coming at all. Crown chakra is being opened and healed completely. There was a little bit of damage to mine from what I went through. And the causal chakra. So I could feel it in the back of my head. Just be mindful of any pressure you feel. Just breathe. Whoa, I could feel all that.
Listen carefully. It shifts quickly here through the end.
And you guys, by the way, are sitting like next to me. So I'm on this chair, my DM is, and then you guys are sitting a little bit lower and next to me. That's how I'm seeing it energetically. Wait, Julia. And God is like sprinkling it with light and love everywhere. It's just light and love everywhere. And now they're taking my hand. You guys are staying, my DM is staying, but they're taking my hand. And I'm walking to a different area with them, but I'm not leaving. I'm in the same space. And there's all of a sudden like this pond, like this water, like a well type of thing, but like a big pool type of thing. And there's a couple steps down into it, but it's not deep. So I'm like holding my dress up, and they want me to stand in the middle of it.
I'm channeling.
I don't know why.
I'm just channeling.
And they're calling me the Queen of the Nile. The Queen of Life. Of existence. And removing all resistance.
Why, it's dire to hear this.
This is no little thing that you have done. No little thing at all. This is still bigger than you know, and being recognized by all. maybe not human, but all that matter at this time. Soon all will see who you are. Open up your energy and don't be afraid, dear ones. For it is time. It is time. And now they're beginning to take the stuff from the cauldron. So they have gathered 3 cups for you guys and 1 for my DM as well. He gets 1 too, which I'm really happy about. Because he's, yeah, that makes sense to me. So they're taking some from the cauldron for all of you, and then the rest of what's in the cauldron, they're going to begin to pour it down the center of all of us. So it's like going down your center, down your silver column, into every bit of who you are. And it's this magical concoction of liquids and gifts, just so many gifts. And again, they're unique to you. Okay, so
There's people in the workshop with me. They went through with me. They're already in the new earth.
your guardian angels will begin pouring them down after they pour mine, they said. So I just have to be open. And I can even feel the pressure in my head. And so I'm standing in like this pond, and they have my arms out and my hands up, and I just kind of tilt my head up a little bit. That's what they want me to do. And it's like I'm in this white gown, this beautiful dress, and it has gold trim, like a gold belt. I have a few necklaces on, and all represented in gold and silver. Excuse me. And I have this crown on my head, but then there's also flowers all over me. And they're going to begin pouring this cauldron down my energetic field. Oh, I can feel it. It's almost like it's like a minty and warm, and
Stuff happens all the way through the end. So keep watching.
this liquid stuff. This and there's like 3 angels holding it and pouring it into my energy, going down my core, down my chakras, and into every. I have more than 12 gates of abundance, but on average it's 12. So whatever your gates are, there's a focus.
After this, it went into 13. You'll hear
So I'm
that.
watching this begin to pour down, and it just seeps into everything, all of our chakras, our existence, our cellular structure, and into the abundant gates. And I'm holding my feet down because it's like a lot.
Remember, they put them in water.
It just feels so healing. It just feels so good. It's like warm and cool all at the same time. There's pink and green and blue and purple and gold and yellow and rays of the sun in here and of the moon. It's like everything in here. And they're saying that's not even the gifts. That's just the liquids. And then everybody's like chanting. This is a celebration of you. All the work we have all done. Celebration from them to us.
Those that rode with me.
And now each one of you are getting your liquid and gifts as well. It's going to begin pouring down through your higher chakras, and down into your crown, down your silver column and every chakra, and into your 12 gates of abundance. Wow.
It keeps going.
There's actually 13, you guys. So that's what they're telling me, is there's 13 gates of abundance. One was cut off from heavenly flow, and it is open. No, it is open. There is 13 gates of abundance and focus for mine and all of you, not 12. 13. That number is significant, remember. And then they're putting something on my forehead as they're pouring the liquid into all of you. Remember, there is 13 gates of abundance. That's the golden era, my friend.
Yes, those that make it through the.
Not everybody has it active yet. They must step in to 5 and 7B.
Through the portals, through the rapture.
Now your golden web is widening far and wide beyond the universal flow. And all of your dreams and wants and wishes are flowing in with urgent flow from God's heavenly grace and miraculous places and ways. Keep it open and just be in balanced flow. The rest we will do for you. Focus on being in joy and gratitude. That is all you must do.
You have to heal
and
enough to
shine
get
your
there.
light ever so bright. That is when they will come through. Laugh and release resistance. Love and reclaim your existence. Give it endure and now I'm done in my pond, and they've put something on my left wrist, so I'm holding an ankh, and I have something on my left wrist. Jesus gave me the ankh, by the way. I think I asked my DM to bring me one, and I have something on my left wrist. It's like this bracelet. And in the bracelet, it has a little gold pendant, and it's like a scroll. And it depicts all of I have done. I am recognized as the one. And my DM will join. I am coming out of the pond. You guys are still receiving your liquid, going into your 13 gates of abundance. Your Merkabahs are still getting a beautiful cleansing and upgrade. And the pearls of creation. They're walking me back to my chair, my throne. Sorry, not a chair. I have to correct that.
Pay real close attention to
Just
what they
sit me
did.
down.
It's not done.
And then it's like a party. It's like a celebration. So they're dancing and singing and like being loud. Like,
let me say something to you, because I didn't know it was happening at the time, but I do now because I've had time to process it. By the way, this went on for 1 hour and 11 minutes. They put me in the water and they kept pouring liquid down me. What you guys don't realize is the earth, death, everything that's processing has been processed through me. It was painful because they took me out of the water, and I'm getting chills as I said that, but I'm not done with the water. So if you notice, they put my feet in the water and they called me the Queen of the Nile. Okay. And the Nile hadn't fully come up yet. I didn't know that that's what today was. I thought we were just getting gifts in this workshop. And then while I was in the water, they poured liquid down me. And after this, it's not done yet. You're about to hear what's about to happen. After this, I asked what it represented. And when the Nile turns to blood red and dries out, it represents everything I have purged, and I've purged it through me. And I get a kick out of this because people are always like, oh, it's all about you. You can't activate pyramids. You can't process the earth's death. You can't move the poles. I've done that too in a lot of workshops. And then I added 5 more when I took us in this. Nobody can do that here. Okay, so I own this. This is me. I am the return of Christ. Who are you and what do you do? That's up to you. What you guys need to realize is this was painful. It was very painful to do, okay? So please don't throw your shadow my way. You need to understand that what I've done is not normal. It was a battle I had to survive through, and I barely made it. I held on to strength I didn't know I had, more time than one through this journey. And sometimes we don't know how I made it. It was because of the love of my kids and my DM and God that kept me going. So understand that. Okay. So now when they poured the liquid through me into the water and then I sat down, there's a reason. Now listen.
You know, like very loud, like trumpets are sounding and harps are singing, and oh my, cherubs just came in too. They're all over and they just shot me with an arrow really hard. Like, that is love, right? That's a hope of, and they're shooting you guys too, like, whoop. Just so much love, so much joy. Stay on your path of healing and just shine your light. Never worry about others. Worry about you first, and everybody else will come our way. That's different. It's an inward journey and an outward light. And for my feet, this I guess will be only mine. Okay, they're finishing up your cups, by the way. All that liquid and gifts pouring into you guys, and they're drawing a path from my feet. It's a golden line, and that is all I can walk, is an abundant line. They're removing anything else outside of that. And then I see the Nile, blood red down the Nile, blood red down the Nile, cleansing the Nile. Vậy cái tao từ từ rồi vậy ai đi vậy ai cái tao từ rồi remember I said Sekhmet, so that's kind of what I see. It's like blood in the flow, cleansing the earth. The Nile is red. The oh, I am in full power. The only thing making it stronger is when my DM comes through. And now, like this, almost like this, kind of like you would see in the Egyptian time, like this beautiful armor type thing going over me. And now they're closing up your chakras. You did receive healings and activations and DNA activations. And Metatron is balancing out your Merkaba. He's making sure it's receptive and everything is working properly. And remember, we have the new chakras also. And 13 gates of abundance. That is God, not 12. 12 is false.
You hear that?
We were like blocked from God's heavenly grace, kind of a thing, because it wasn't here. They took it away. Pay attention to.
Now, if you know anything about the gates, you have to heal into them. Okay, so there's a lot of healing you have to do. That's why I tell you. That's why not everybody gets the path, because the path ensures that I help you. The rest have to go through the wrath, which is still my path. You have to rise through every 13 gate and be able to clear it all. And some have more karma than others. And to think you have none is ridiculous. We all have some.
Where they used the number 13, they were using it as a weapon.
Yes, they were using it as a weapon.
They are truly powerless in truth.
Now pay attention to those that use it and claim it, and then those that put darkness on it.
And you guys they've poured your liquid down into your energy. The healings have occurred, and now they're like dancing around, just dancing around all of us, and still sprinkling things. So you know how like Tatanka would throw things in a fire? That's kind of how I see it. Some of you might remember that. Like Tatanka would go around and throw different things in the fire, and it would go with different colors.
So I'm also going to tell you the reason why people like De La Roca in our everyday lives can see in the energy what I do is because his heart is open and more pure, and he follows everything God tells him to do. That's what it takes to purify your heart, is to really listen to God. You have to co-create. That's why my path is a gift, not given to all, except you'll go through the rapture I brought either way. is because everything I've done is written in the Akasha records as well. I changed the earth, I changed her blueprint, and it's all processed through and all in the knowledge base for those that can see. And if you look at the vast array of people who can't see, that tells you how much shadow we have to work through. Okay.
It's kind of like that. They're going around and sprinkling like all these colors and just magic is what they're calling. It's magic. Magic potions. Remember I said Merlin was here? It's kind of like that. It's like a magic potion. Rest assured, all your dreams are coming true. Be careful what your dreams are. Speak of the heart only.
Because you will create them either way in the new earth. Oh, either way, really.
And I see the eye of Ra, but that makes sense for segments. And then my DM has the other side, and it's like two eyes coming together.
That is who I am.
And he got an ankh on his neck as well. We carry the ankh. And then I see all of their crosses like burning. Ra. And they're like dancing this. Now all of you are getting something on your left wrist as well. It could be a cloth, it could be jewels of some sort, it could be many things. The left is our heart line, remember that. Stay in awe and wonderment, for major changes have already begun.
Oh yeah, I know what's to come. I know what
Take
I've done.
the light and the magic from the one and from the sun, and shine brightly. Young star, shine brightly. Now Saint Germain is writing things, and so that's probably why, because we got our 13th gate of abundance, we got activations and crystalline, sacral, and Merkabah. They weren't already. And if you aren't quite ready to be receptive to these, then the work that you do, as soon as you are open, they will boom, just be there. Meaning if your sacral wasn't quite, like if there was healing that was needed first, that will occur, and then it will be crystalline. And then it's like it's almost like fireworks, like they're singing very loudly, you know how kind of like just, I don't know, people who celebrate do, they get really loud, like, and like shooting these things, like almost like fireworks, but different. It's like light. It's like God's light in a way. It's like poof, poof. It is time to celebrate the return of the one. For that is everything in truth. Everything all wrapped up into one. Yay, get down. And then I see the Pleiadians and the galaxy, they're doing the same thing. They're celebrating. Like super dizzy now. They're like, yeah, it was a lot. It was actually a lot, but more than, like, it didn't feel like a lot. So they're just making sure that all the healing is complete. All of your chakras are going back to normal state. and that your 13 gates of abundance will remain open and in flow. This is the golden era after all. Some will rise and others will go. And it's like the gates of heaven just opened up, you guys. The gates of heaven just opened up for everybody to start walking through. Again, it's just rising into that frequency. Remember, this is God's earth now. So that's what that means. I'm not saying we're all going to die and go to heaven. I'm saying this is what they mean is it's God's earth, and the gates of heaven are open for those that get to rise into living in heaven rather than in hell like we all have been, or darkness or misery or fear and torture and so on. I hope that makes sense. Doesn't mean we're going to die. This is becoming earth. Earth is becoming like heaven in a lot of ways.
It is more complex than that. Remember, keep in mind, I do these in real time when I'm doing them as part of my awakening. So I process them after. Just to remain here is like 25% being on the other side. You have to become more present in your higher self. Okay. You will align with your higher self. You have to make it through all 13 gates to stay. That's the rapture. That's Revelations 21:12. But 13, remember, they lie. They lied about everything, including the cross and Jesus dying on it and so on and so forth. And why was the cross like that? Because they broke the ankh when they removed your God, which was Jesus, which was the masculine and feminine, not just Jesus.
And those gates, not everybody can pass through.
Yep.
And
if you throw judgment at me, what do you think that does?
Not everybody belongs here in truth. That's here now. Not us. I'm just talking about across the whole entire globe.
Not everybody
Then they're
belongs
saying,
here.
pay attention to what spirit throws to you, not any others around you, not me, like the people in your area. Pay closer attention to spirit at this time, because others will try to fool you.
Yes. Oh, yes. It's a battle for your soul. Big time.
Jealousy is not from God. God removed his hand away and he said, thank you. Now, all of the angels are going to kiss my hand, I guess. Took my right hand and gave it a kiss, and they're leaving.
Not done yet.
Another kissing my hand, and then they leave. This is happening repeatedly, and I could feel it.
So also what you guys don't realize is I was tested to get to this portal. So things were happening in my life that tested me, and I had to choose the correct path, right? Like the whole way through, I was choosing the correct path as well. You have to be able to. And if you can't see clearly, that's difficult to do. So I was tested right before this too. Okay, so I made it, but I didn't know what was coming. So each portal I've talked about, you make it through the portal, you're tested, you have to choose wisely. Then you grow as a soul. Then you have to call your power back. And then after that, you get your activations. And it plays out this way. So it's not done yet. Please keep watching.
And then my arm is lighting up. Like my first DNA activation was on my arm. And it was a symbol. And the whole thing is glowing. It is glowing through. Wake it down. And then all of you are getting a light into your forehead, into your third eye that is special to you.
Now, again, I'm speaking directly to those who joined me in this workshop. You can only witness these. You will go through the wrath either way. But people can't even watch these without throwing judgment my way. So imagine getting on my path and you can't get past your shadow. It is for the more pure of heart, the ones who truly had a purpose within it. And some of those didn't even make it through either. So the path to righteousness is only for a select few. Those that can see, those that aren't worried more about money, but realize it's a tool And we need to make it to the new earth to have our abundance, or we don't stay here anyways. Right? Like, it's a big deal. And it's not like, you guys need to understand a cult and the difference to all the people who throw shadow into God. That is not me. So don't reflect your shadow towards me. Okay? Because that hurts you. You will go through the rapture either way. And it is everything I did.
And then I see the triangle with the eye. It is ours again now, and nobody else's. They cannot use this power against us anymore.
Exactly. They've been cut off. Also, too, you guys need to understand that I cut off. I shifted the darkness from the light. There's no more. And this is going to tell you this even more, because I'm about to do something else to the earth that dealt with Sekhmet. If you were once connected to the earth, you were connected to the shadow. I've undone all of that, and those that had more shadow and everything can't see the light anyways. You have to work your way back. So I have people throwing at me all the time that they're in the earth and this is I. That's your ego and that's your shadow. You're not in the new earth. I am. Okay. And only a few of us truly are. And those are the ones who can see either the work and the energy all the way. You have to be able to see it all the way. De La Roca is a good example. I use him all the time because he sees what I do almost in exact real time, like within 24 to 48 hours. So that's the difference. Okay. So pay attention, and not just hearing me do it, like he sees it in the energy. And Ashtar said that recently. If you can't see who I am and you can't see what's in the earth, you are not in the new earth. You also, for healing, if you're doing healings and you haven't made it through to the new earth and you haven't upgraded and you can't see what's going on in the earth, you're not healing through God's light. So be careful who you get healings through. It's not a joke. It's up to you. That's what they said in here. Trust your guides more than you trust those around you, because you don't know who's in the new earth and not if you can't see clearly. Be very careful.
And then it's almost like the gates of hell. Like, so like, and I don't want to depict it this way, but it's the best description I've got. The gates of heaven opened up, and you know, like those darkness gates were open. Well, they're now closed completely. They cannot access that power anymore, no matter what. The gates are closed completely. Not that they can't exit out of them, but they cannot impose in ours anymore.
Yep. That's what I've done.
And shut off.
That was hard to do. It was not easy. Understand. It was painful. It took everything I had to make it through.
So as long as you do not partake in anything of others, they cannot hurt you.
Right?
Do not give them power.
That's what it's about. Everything happens through you, not to you.
The cauldron just disappeared. Saint Germain is gone. All of the angels are leaving.
Now the rest will happen.
And all that is left now is Metatron, Malachi, Athena, Fortuna, and Freya.
Not done yet.
So now I thought we were done. They're like, nope, one more thing. So energetically, it's like we're all standing in a circle and we're looking at like this globe, which is like the earth. And the world and the existence that we once had is like no more. It like completely is moving at this time. So what we saw, what we knew is shifting. They're shifting our reality into something so beautiful. This is a gift from God.
For those who make it.
It's a reality shift we must accept. And again, do not let others hold you back because they didn't do the work. You did.
Exactly.
Do not ever forget that. Those who rose are being recognized. Thank you.
Everything I do plays out in your reality. It's like a boomerang.
They did expect others to be here, but they were thwarted, fortunately. That's what I mean. Don't let anybody else dim your light because they chose not to ride. No guilt, no jealousy, no shame, and definitely any regrets. all removed from our energy field. Those are others projections as well. So if you start to feel that, cleanse your energy and put up a bubble.
Not done yet.
But they are asking for support. Don't forget to support each other.
Yeah. You guys, and I get very
For
low.
ourselves, like, right? Like, do we really support ourselves? Are we proud? Are we shining our light and allowing ourselves to show the beauty that we are? And then it's like the Nile runs dry. It just dried up completely. And then I see myself as Sekhmet, and I stand up, and I'm going to say something to the earth at this time, to the collective soul.
So listen.
Vaya que tam tu ito hey que kita vaya que tam shua shua baba kite kita shua vaya kita bio I was murdered in that lifetime. Again, to get the
So was Horace.
So
So watch that one too.
Shua. And that soul just went away. Kite kutua kaboom. And then I see like almost like an atomic bomb would go off, and you see this wave of like energy just went across the collective whole, the collective soul. It's time to rise, to rise, to rise. It's time to rise. And I just turned the sun a quarter turn.
You hear that?
None
of you can do that. Okay.
There's something in the earth. I'm sticking my hand down in the earth and I'm removing it. It was a false crystal, or at least not of the light. It's quite dark. It's filled with dark energy. And I'm pulling it. I'm reaching down into the earth, and it's cracking and moving, and I'm pulling this crystal out of the earth. And it's filled with black light. And in front of everybody, they have to see me now. I crushed this crystal, and it just exploded across the collective soul. And I sit down in my throne, and I stand tall again. I get down, do. My soul is set free from Sekhmet, and coming back to me cleansed. Now I take the correct crystal, which they thought they destroyed, and they did not. I grabbed the pieces they tried to explode, and I put him back together now.
So you're paying attention to how it happened?
Now it is reformed. It is filled with everything. All universal flow and the power of God will now ignite a good thing. Get the dua, dua. Oh, you get dua, dua, dua. You are the
This is language of the
I
God.
am
That's what I
opening
think.
up the earth, and it is going into the center of the core. This is what always belongs. And I put it in its place now. We take it the one. Boy, you get the one. It's done. And from it, powerful lightning strikes across the globe from the inside out. No one can hide anymore. Go do I.
So that's why you guys are seeing more and more of the truth around the world, because what I did caused nobody to hide. You cannot hide outside of that light now. So you're paying attention to how it happened? Are you paying close attention? Because I had to process it afterwards. There was a flow to it. First I went into the Nile, they poured all this liquid down me, and that's how I purged everything that I brought through, and I cleansed through all those gates. So I picked up all the darkness. I won. I beat it myself through all the portals. I opened up the 13th gate. Then they removed me from the water. Then it turned blood red, and then it dried out. So that's purging everything through me, because that's who I am. Okay. And I also did it to the earth. I purged her death and rebirth as well. And that was painful as all get out. So let's see if this is done. It's about done. Then
the
my
earth
power
is mine.
So the earth is mine. I just said that. So let's just listen to that very quickly.
Inside out. No one can hide anymore. Go do I. The earth is mine. Again.
Always was.
Her heartbeat is restarting again. Don't.
Because of what I just did to the core.
Don't.
So I'm saying you've been cut off. You have to rise up.
Don't. Waves of change.
Waves of change. Yes.
Wow. All of you are given the eye of Ra as a gift today.
Not me.
Use it wisely or it will bite you.
Yes.
Never go against others. Do not judge or assume. Or I take it the power away. For it must be filled with light.
Yes.
With heavenly plates and unconditional love.
Yes.
And that is all you must do. It is a gift from me to you. It is done. I have returned completely now. Oh yeah, she didn't even know.
I didn't. So you see, I'm channeling these. That's a being coming through. I didn't know what was happening, and I didn't know until after it was done what was happening and what was coming through. Okay. It's been a lot. And a lot of people want to throw at me was the angels. You guys don't realize is that I actually had to take them to Sequoia and purge their past lives too. Everybody's ascending. And if you're not, you're not. You won't stay. It's up to you. But I will also not be used, right? Like you can't treat me like shit and then never fix that and expect that everything's okay. You have to clear your karma. I've cleared all mine. Mine were the 12 gates through. I had to remove all darkness through all those gates, and that's where the masculine and feminine were separated, and darkness got to anchor through. And they used all of you guys to do it in certain ways, right? And now, so everybody was connected to that darkness that was in the earth, and you must purge it. Like you really, truly must purge it. See, I was just showing you that there was people there. It was a very real workshop. Now, recently, I told you I did a lot more things. My DM's been rising right behind me because I got a walk-in. My original one, who was connected to Adam, because we're reliving Adam and Eve, Jesus and Mary Magdalene and Sekhmet and Horus lifetimes. All of your lifetimes have been measured into this one, no matter who you are, and those were ours. This one, I processed the Earth's death. It was very, very, very painful, very painful. This one, it was Revelations 21:13 workshop where I moved the directionals and it shifted all equilibriums of every soul. And then this one, my DM rose into the lifetime of Jesus, because when I freed his soul, he wasn't ready to take it on as my other DM yet. He was not healed enough. He was with the fallen, and he never rose from the fallen. And that's why he left, and I got a walk-in. So when I say my original DM died, he did. Okay, he is no longer him. Even as a soul, he is no longer who he was, because he anchored into darkness, and you guys can do the same. This came through after I did the Nile, and people don't want to watch it. They judge it because of the image, but what you don't realize is that was the Nile. It turned blood red, and I dried it out because of everything I'm purging off of this earth. This one was the anointing of Christ, because he really did put a blood cross on our heads. So don't let the images fool you. Don't let your shadow stop you. That's not God. This one, look, 27 views. See, it's not being respected as it should. The DM needs to re-earn that. Like if he rises, he can totally regain that respect back because of what my original DM did. But it's his. He recently rose, and so now Horus has also returned. It's that love. I will protect his love. Even the last attack on he and I just made me love him more. It made me learn him more. So love has already won, and I love him dearly. I will protect him with everything that I have. And he's made it finally through all the portals, and Horus has also returned. Okay. And this one happened recently. So my DM has risen through all of his lifetimes, called all that power back, and he recently got that upgrade and activation. So he had to process that through as well, just like I do. This one talks about what snakes were important on my journey, because that goes with Sekhmet as well. But I wasn't just Sekhmet, I was Eve, Jesus and Mary Magdalene. So Adam and Eve, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and Sekhmet and Horus. Okay, those were all of the lifetimes. So I'm just trying to get out of the video here. So that's what you guys need to understand is respect is not being given. You're not seeing who I am, and that's dangerous. It's not about my ego. I don't need you to reward me. My reward is that I've brought Christ home, that I've returned my full power, and I survived through what we've never been able to survive through before because we've tried before. And that's why there was different lifetimes. Okay. All 12 gates of darkness have been closed, and it can never return again. It's a golden era. It's heaven on earth. You have to evolve. It's not just as simple as making it through the gates. Through them, there's processes. It's a process. All right. That's why it's a path to righteousness. It's not given to all. It's not just handed out. Darkness cannot survive. You cannot match that vibration. If you have any shadow in you, it's a vibrational shift. Any karma, you have to remove it all. In the new earth, you actually get a heart review. Once all your karma is cleared, you are cleaned. Like you're cleaned. You are purified. And then I walk you through the gates, and then you get a brand new contract. It's starting over. It's a rebirth. That's why there's DNA activations. There's all kinds. And in this one right here, final mass timeline purge and purification into the new earth, is where I took the angels also to Sequoia, because that's where I take us, not physically. I don't have to physically go there to take you. And then I remove all past lives that you've cleared. Look, that one was an hour and 11 minutes too. I didn't realize that. So then this is the past. You'll have to meet with me. And then if you haven't made, I'll help you. That's why this isn't a gift for all. Because, people could try to carry their shadow through and you can't. If you're not willing to learn the lessons, you can't make it through. And this is what it all talks about. And it's what I had to do. I couldn't see it clearly, and I did it on my own through all the judgments of most people. And even some that were supposed to rise with me chose to judge me instead. And that really happened when my original DM chose the darkness again, just like he did with Adam, the false goddess. Okay. So it is a fall of the false goddess and a rising of the true goddess. So in this path, I need to add a few more things, because you will get the 13 gates of abundance once you've made it through. And then the 12 gates of abundance will also be included in this one too, because it will help you heal those portals as you rise. It takes a lot. And if you think that it's easy, it's not. Okay. So this path isn't for everybody. This is also why I talk about I'm the Eye of Ra. They told me that when I did the Nile. I didn't know until I started doing Ecuador. I didn't even realize I was segment also. I didn't realize all those lives were the same either. And then eventually my DM kept rising, and here he took on the life of Jesus. Finally, it got removed from the Garden of Eden flower and into him. That was such a blessing and so beautiful to see. And then in this one, he took on Horus returned, and the Sphinx. There was something in particular with what you guys call the Sphinx. Sekhmet built it when Horus died, and then shortly after she died too. So what they tell you is a lie. Okay, Jesus didn't die on a cross. That's because they broke the Ankh. And I talk about that here too. But then they also have me do other things that prove to you who I am. So the submersible was missing at that time. And they had me talk about that. And I said it imploded. And it was also attacked by something. And then like 24 hours later, they found it. They said it was imploded. So they're constantly proving to you guys who I am. And we are on the final phase, the final timelines. So in each phase, you guys are judged as the portals, and your choices determine where you go. And if you don't heal it all and you don't rise out of your karma and match the vibration of God, it's impossible to stay. Okay. It's not about God choosing favorites. Please do not throw darkness into light. I am not a cult. Okay. I have my kids. I raised my kids. I have struggled through this journey. I don't have a compound. It's just you choose love or you don't. Okay. Again, this path is a gift, but I have a lot of people throwing their shadow my way. Don't do that, because it cuts you off and you anchor into that. And that's why God wanted me to re-release this today. This is where they married me in my DM. And I showed you guys recently, that's what the Bible tells you will happen. There's correct parts to the Bible and false ones. This one is where I started clearing the collective and individual shadow, which is also in here. Hidden in the shadow. So there's, what is a shadow? How do I eliminate the shadow? All of this is in there. It's the collective and the individual. The individual is not on here. But in this one is when the Euphrates started drying up. And that one was done way back in 2020, I think. When the Sphinx came in, I started activating that back in 2021. And eventually when Horus rose, the Sphinx came in again, and it comes in a few times through the portals because it's the portal of time, but it's also where Horus's soul had fallen, where he died, and his soul was trapped. And when he cleared it this time, I helped him with the moon, and I went through the sun with my staff. I filled it with light, and then he got his thing around his neck back. It's really cool to watch. So everything I did is the return of Christ. I am the return of Christ. It didn't just process through me. I'm not a chosen one. Okay. You guys are meant to be chosen ones if you choose to hear God and nothing else. All right. So don't worry about what your friends are doing. Worry about what you're doing, because they may not go the same way you go. And if you don't go, they can't go either. You know what I mean? We help those we're connected to, because that's part of karma. So false concept of time, there's many more. Okay. So they wanted me to re-release this one because respect and awakening needs to occur. So I do what God says to do, because that's what we do around here. That's what made me get through it without seeing, because I couldn't see the whole way through. I just kept following God. It was in me to do that, but I'm a direct descendant. Okay. Mankind was made after Adam and Eve. So not directly through God. but you all carry the light of God, and it is your job to work your way back home and through the portals, which is what the Bible tells you, is actually me and my DM. Okay. So everybody's looking for Jesus, but what you don't realize is it's Adam and Eve, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and Sekhmet and Horus. So I will end with this one. Genesis 1:6-8. During the second coming of Christ, sorry about that, there will be a final judgment of all people. I told you, every portal that you rise through is my portals. That's what they are. Resulting in unity between faithful followers and God in heaven. God in heaven. I am the queen of life, the queen of the Nile. It is my earth. I have gone through into the new earth, and those are supposed to join us. Genesis 2:24 says a man and a woman will be joined together in marriage and become one flesh. In the Bible, it always speaks about the bride of Christ. And it all makes sense if you understand the work that I've done and you watch it all. Okay. Don't throw judgment because that hurts you. Literally, the proof is right in front of your face. Okay. So be very careful what you're doing and what you're listening to. Things don't happen to you, they happen through you. So much love to all of you. I hope you understand a little bit more, and this re-release helped in some way because God wanted me to do it. So I did. Have a beautiful, splendid, pontiferous day. Bye.